Hey guys, this is Nick Dean, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
Did you know that Nick Dean is actually a character in Jimmy Neutron?
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Jimmy,
He's like a cool kid. Like he probably rides a bike.
Jimmy Neutron, yeah. Oh, he's the kid on the skateboard.
Yeah, that's him.
The guy who keeps on eating the purple lollipop or something like that.
That's him.
Man, I know way too many details.
You really you really did grow up on that. But yeah, I was that was the first thing that popped up when I put your name on Google. And I was like, that's cool. It kind of looks like you.
Maybe, I don't know.
He's like a cool kid with a leather jacket and like maybe he has a bike too. I don't know. It's been way too long.
It's been way too long. I haven't seen it in so many years.
Let's talk about the debut single that just recently dropped. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it, but take me into the studio. What was that like for you to create?
I had just flown in from Italy, and we had 48 hours to record something before the end of the year. It was around Christmas. We're gonna wrap it up and just get one more record before, we're like, okay, cool, let's go for the holidays. And so I didn't really think we were gonna write something that we'd like necessarily release in the span of 48 hours, but we created the record that way.
Right.
So.
And how much of a part did you have with the writing?
I think I was in a mindset where I was really jet lagged and I was really tired, and I feel like it almost got me in a place where it almost came easier and a little bit quicker. But yeah, I have a really heavy hand. Like me and my partner Mike Miller wrote and produced the record together. Right. Yeah, so it's really cool how we're both producers and we can collaborate that way. Because a lot of producers like to take the reins on their own, but we really came together and we made it happen.
Now, was this your first time like in a studio recording for yourself, or is that something you've been doing for some time now?
Yeah, I've been recording and writing and producing for a long time. I got out here when I was 14, and I've been doing it ever since.
How different is it when it's something that you're getting ready to release, especially something like a debut single? How different is it like going into the studio writing the record and getting ready to release it?
It's for sure a very long process. When it comes to releasing a record, it's the writing, it's the producing, it's the mixing, it's the mastering, but then it's creating like an entire campaign behind it and just making sure that the record gets treated the right way that it does, so it gets to the people. Right.
And you said your buddy and yourself were the ones that worked on it. Did anybody else take part in this single?
No, it was just two of us. It was fun. I love working with my friends in like anything creative.
Right. And then there's a remix as well with Ryan Reback.
Yeah.
What is it like when you hear your track being not only like other people listening to it, but when it comes down to like a remix, and then that's the start. Usually I hear one song gets remixed by somebody, and then somebody else wants to remix it, and then somebody else wants to remix it. So what does that mean to you when somebody does that?
It's really cool because you get to see different variations of the same record. It gives it another life in a sense, and it's really cool to see what Ryan did to it and like put his own spin on it. And yeah, we're really close friends.
Right.
He's a really nice guy. Love him.
Now, I saw that you were recently in France to shoot the video for this.
Yeah.
Why was France the place that you wanted to shoot it?
France is where I grew up, and it's where I discovered a lot of who I was, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to shoot the video for the first single where I feel like everything kind of started.
And now that it's your song, and you're usually the one filming videos, did you pretty much take part of the whole production process for this video, or did you have someone else like kind of jump in and take that initiative?
I work on my videos with my friends, and so I'm not going around like filming myself, but yeah, it was me and my girlfriend and my really good friend Cam, and so we shot the whole thing on Red, and we went to a lot of different locations around Paris, and we had a really good time. Right. It was a ton of fun, really memorable trip.
Now that this single's out, like what can we expect with you, like as far as music goes? Do you see yourself setting up any shows anytime soon? Are you going to work on more material?
We're currently in the studio working on more material right now. We're preparing to release another single and hopefully an EP in the new year.
And how do you see the new single changing from the release right now?
They're very much in the same vein. I really like to keep all of my records cohesive and eventually have it be a collective body of work. And I really like the cohesion, but it's for sure its own record, and it's different at the same time.
Right. And what about your writing process? Like, do you see that progress? And if so, like, how is it progressing?
My writing process is different every time. I can't say I necessarily have a distinct way of doing it each and every time. Right. And I think that's almost the beauty in keeping things different and like keeping that cohesion, but also letting a record be its own thing and letting it come to you however it comes to you.
And with How Did We, the single, what why was this the single that you wanted to be your debut? What is it about the single?
It felt different to me. It was something I hadn't done before or written about before, and it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. Something about that made it feel right going into this next chapter, releasing something that made me almost a bit uncomfortable. And so I kind of like that in a way.
Right.
But yeah.
What made you the most uncomfortable though in the studio when you were creating it?
It was a sound that was way different than what I had been used to creating, and it was just it really set out from everything else that I had done before, and I feel like that set the tone of what is to come, and I wanted to come out with that.
I know you want to be on tour, obviously.
Yes.
What would be the ideal tour for you? Who would you want to take on tour? Who would you want to open up with? Have you thought about that?
I think any artist ever would want to tour with Coldplay. I feel like that's one of the best tours anyone could ever be on, but I'm open to anything. I love touring. I've toured when I was really young, but obviously not to that extent. But I would very much look forward to doing that, and I love playing shows, and I love connecting with the audience, and anyone would be great. Any tour that I could be on, but Coldplay's for sure the top.
Nice. And then when it comes to music and video, what is it that drew your attention that made you want to do both? What called you out to do video, and what called you out to do some singing? Well,
I think when it came to creating in general, I really discovered I feel like the two inspire one another. When I do video, it inspires me to write something about it. When I do music, it inspires me to bring it to life through visuals, and I feel like that's a really interesting way of presenting or expressing yourself in a way, and I feel like that's going to be a new movement of artistry in general when it comes to like a recording artist releasing the music. He also comes out with the visual element that came from the artist as well.
Right. And is that something that whenever you're creating or writing music, is that something that's always going through your mind?
Yeah, as soon as the record's done and actually get a chance to step back from writing the record, I see the video in my head, or I see something that could work for it. But when writing the record, I usually get inspired by movies or scenes in my head that I've seen before. And so the two really complement one another for me in the way that I create in general. And I'd like to keep that going and see where it takes me.
I was noticing on some of the videos that you have on Instagram, Guatemala being one of them, you have a very cinematic style of creating. Not a lot of people can do it, but not a lot of people can actually execute it. And just that video alone, Guatemala, was just amazing. What goes through your mind when you create stuff like that?
I just like to capture what's around me. I don't set out to make something that it's not. Like if it's in my head and I see it, I like to bring it to life that way. But I really do try and let the moment speak for themselves rather than me trying to make something cinematic or big. At the end of the day, a good moment's a good moment, and it's worth capturing. Yeah. So what is next for you after this? The year's almost over. So what can we expect from Nick? We're prepping to release another single before the end of the year, and we have a couple surprises that we're not talking about yet. But yeah, just teasing. We're really excited though. So for those that haven't heard your music yet, what makes you, or what are you all about? What is your music all about? My music is very much related to the path of self-discovery in a way. I feel people will connect with my music in a way where it'll help them discover more elements of who they are as well.